A big shout out to all the beginning to intermediate players who struggle with picking hand accuracy. You know what I'm talking about, struggling to hit the correct strings at the right time. Well, I too struggled with that in the initial stages, and I came up with a solution that works really well for me and those who I've taught over the years. So I'm going to pass it on to you. We're going to learn a couple of very simple exercises that should effectively end that problem for you very soon. Let's check it out. When I made the decision to correct this for myself, I realized one thing. I needed to focus on the picking hand. Up to this point, all my mistakes were due to the fact that my full attention was being paid to the left hand in the fingering of the lick or whatever it is I was working on. And that is part of the reasons why my right hand was making so many errors. I wasn't paying any attention to it. So I thought the prescription for this would be the exact opposite. Let's ignore the left hand as much as possible and focus entirely on the picking hand. Here's what we'll do. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to hold a G chord. Your standard typical G chord shape here. This is just so that it sounds a little pretty. So 3rd fret on strings 1 and 2, in case you're not sure what a G chord is. 6th string, 3rd fret with your middle finger. Ignore my 7th string, so all you 6th stringers, if you're wondering what's going on with this extra string, it is in fact a 7th string. And my index finger is going to play the 5th string B, 2nd fret. You can do this with no chord at all. You can do this with open strings, or you could just mute the strings with your left hand, producing ticking sounds. But again, for the purpose of the video, a G chord is going to sound a little more pleasant for what we're going to do here. We're going to start by just picking the strings separately. I'm going to use alternate picking for this, but you could use any variation of down and up that you want or that you feel is applicable to your style. So in this case, what we're going to do is just very simply test ourselves. Can we pick from 6 to 1 and back just using plain alternate picking? Seems simple, but I got to tell you, when I first tried it back in the day when I was having my issues, even that required a bit of concentration. So this is the entry level thing you need to be able to do. So let's get good at that first. Again, we're just picking from string 6 to 1 and back. I'm using alternate picking in this case. Okay, pretty simple. The next thing I would do, apply a numeric pattern to each string. Meaning you could go, okay, well I'm going to pick each note 2 times. 3 times. 4 times. Things like that. Another great one is to employ a pattern that goes through the strings, perhaps with some string skips. So if you think about it in a really, in a realistic manner, song-wise, you're not going to pick from strings 6 to 1 all the time. You might start on the 4 and then go to the 1, and then the 2, and then the 6. You're going to have, in a real musical situation, that's going to be moving around a lot, and it's not necessarily going to be a predictable pattern. So let's throw some patterns into this and see what happens. A good one would be 3s, and 3s in this case is 3 strings, back 1, 3 strings, back 1. So in other words, we're going to do 6, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, and 3, 2, 1. So to turn it around, we're going to go literally the other way, and starting on the first string, we're going to do 3 strings. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Further they're challenging your right hand's placement. I've seen a bit of advice out there through teachers and other players who might suggest that you don't look while you're working on your picking. Close your eyes, or stare around the room and try to do it intuitively or whatever. This is a bit of advice that I would actually advise against, and here's why. Muscle memory. Your muscle memory does not care whether you're looking or not looking. Muscle memory just records what you do over and over and over and over and over again. The idea of not looking, hoping that you're going to improve any aspect of your technique, is kind of silly when you look at the principles of muscle memory. If you're not very good at something and you close your eyes, you're certainly going to make a ton of mistakes before anything happens. Well, you just recorded all of those mistakes one after another into your muscle memory. I'm not sure what part of that is going to equal good playing in the end, but I would just say to avoid it. On the other hand, your eyes are a great measure of accuracy in this situation. So don't be afraid to look to get it right. Develop the muscle memory, and then guess what will happen? Once you've got the muscle memory, you'll have the ability to not look. You'll have the ability to close your eyes or look around the room and still be completely accurate. A lot of players like to flip that around, but it doesn't really hold much water. So persist with looking if you need to, and for as long as you need to. The next pattern you could try, again, simple concept here, is just string skipping. We're going to go 6, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. And of course, flipping it just means you start on the first string and you start skipping going the other way. So 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, like that. Very simple, but notice that we didn't pay attention to the fretting hand at all. We didn't need to. Some advice if you're wanting to work on this while watching TV or a movie and someone else is in the room with you, even that can be a bit annoying, so you might want to adapt the muted string policy, I guess you could say, and work on all these with just muted strings, which you won't even hear much at all if you're not even plugged in. So for you couch practicers, this kind of thing is okay for that, as long as you're paying some attention to what you're doing. Be respectful of whoever you're watching TV with. My advice for practicing this stuff would be to pick one exercise at a time, buckle down for several non-stop minutes, and really focus on perfect repetitions. Relaxed, but as accurately as you can make them, because that's the only way you're going to override the inaccurate playing that you're dealing with at the moment. So the more focused you can be on that, and the more attentive you are to each movement, the more you're going to get out of those few minutes.